Hey, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, then hi, my name is Erica, and today I'm going to, sorry, I was fixing my hair. Today I'm gonna talk a bit about my thoughts on family vlogging, and I'm also gonna talk a bit about the Dad Challenge podcast. But I wanted this to be a more general video about my thoughts on family vlogging. So, I feel like the term family vlogging is pretty self-explanatory. It's families who vlog, and it usually includes children, which is where a lot of the controversy comes in, because a lot of people say it's exploitative, and that since children cannot give informed consent to being put on the internet like that, that it's kind of exploitative and gross. And I do see that. Like, I myself am not a big fan of family vloggers, and part of the reason is because I am disabled, and I feel like a lot of family vloggers with disabled children, like fathering autism and Micah Stoffer, they almost like showcase their children as if they're like an exhibit, like a freak show. And I know a lot of people say, well, they're just educating other parents of autistic children about it. But I do feel like there's a better way than showing your child's meltdowns and their worst moments. Like, I feel like there's a better way to raise awareness and educate people than doing that. But again, that's just my opinion. And also, a lot of people point to the fact that there are child labor laws when it comes to like child stars in TV shows and in movies, but like that's not the case for YouTube. There are no laws put into place as of how much children are able to work and how many breaks they need, and there are no laws saying that the parent needs to set aside the money for the child when they are older. So a lot of people point to that as another big issue with family vloggers, and I see that as well. Like, even though I don't know how labor intensive being in a vlog is, you still don't want a camera in your face constantly. I don't know about you, but if somebody was following me around with a camera and just recording everything I'm doing, I think I would get pretty annoyed and pretty like burnt out, because sometimes you just want to be left alone. So I see that too. And I myself am against family vloggers, but I don't know if I would say I'm part of the anti-family vlogging community, because I think that community can become pretty toxic, and people, especially people like the Dad Challenge podcast, like they'll say they're doing something under the guise of being anti-family vlogger, but instead they're just tearing down women, making fun of their Botox and like their hair extensions and their lipstick and their weight. And everything like that. And a lot of the criticism can end up being kind of misogynistic because it typically really heavily focuses on women and like basically tearing down women for everything, not just for putting their children on the internet, but for how they decorate their homes. If they seem to be like the more loud one in a relationship, like that's something Josh from the Dad Challenge podcast loves to knock women for. And I think the Dad Challenge podcast is a misogynist, and I'm going to get into that right now. So there's this family vlogging channel called OK Baby, and the two parents are named, I think her name is Kira or Kyra, I don't know which one it is, I don't watch family vloggers, so I don't know, and Oscar. So we recently, they have decided that to post on YouTube and that they are breaking up and just discuss why their relationship dissolved. And so Josh thought that was harder for his YouTube channel. He thought that it would be nice to react to that video. Not once, not twice, but 3 times. He has like 3 streams on his channel that are all at least an hour long. And he spends a lot of the time spouting misogynistic tropes.
You've done what you said and just admitted doing. You're disgusting and gross. That you could do that and manipulate and just convince this guy that he's in the wrong and to try to get out to her rippers and try to sleep with other women so you can feel not guilty about what you did.
Like, he seems to think Kira is this manipulative, evil person that used her, like, feminine appeal to trick Oscar and to ruin his life and make him do all these things he wouldn't normally do because she is this evil person, like this wicked woman. And that just reminds me of, there was a trope in a lot of 1940s film of like the vamp and the virgin. And so you would have the vamp who would typically have like a short hair, more of like a daring haircut, and she would wear like dark lipstick and like revealing clothing, and she would manipulate the man and seduce him, and she was just like the evil one. And then there was the virgin who was pure, and she typically had like blonde hair or something, and she wore modest clothing, and it was just basically a trope to say like there are 2 types of women, either the evil one that's gonna manipulate you and ruin your life, stay away from her, or there's the good one who's pure and she's a virgin. And that's just ridiculous, because it's like, men can do whatever they want and they're not judged in the same way.
Wow. I know you guys are like, you're misogynistic, Josh, because it's all her. Guys, I know I can, again, I will apologize if I'm wrong, but I think I've been pretty fair. The thing that he's probably has his downsides too, but I think this has all been a manipulation tactic and a guilt thing for Kira. What she just said there and the laughter and joy in her voice right now.
Oh,
you're not kidding.
God. The fact that...
Come at me. Call me misogynist. I'm just seeing what's right in front of my eyes.
And Josh can say whatever he wants and be like, I'm not a misogynist, I'm just telling it how it is, but you are, because you're perpetuating these misogynistic tropes that women are these evil, masterful, manipulative creatures, when we're just human beings. Like, I don't know, that just pisses me off that he spent so much time on that, saying, like, look at her evil smile in this clip.
Oh, Oscar, I hope you're watching this. I hope you're watching this, bro. Please don't be duped. Please don't be duped. All she's doing is trying to look at her face right in this picture, Oscar. That is the face of evil right there. She is trying to get you to do something so that it alleviates the guilt of the things that she's doing.
What? And I just want to say here, you cannot tell relationship and dynamics from a video. I don't care how good you think you are at body language analysis or at like reading people, but there is no way you could possibly understand a relationship's dynamics from watching a video and being like, oh yeah, see, he's like this weak man who's being manipulated by this evil woman. And also, I wanted to say that one thing I noticed Josh did a lot in his video was when he talked about Oscar, he referred to him as a kid, but when he talked about Kira, he called her a lady, which was basically enforcing that she was this like adult who's charged with taking care of a man and their children, and so she took advantage of him.
This is really, really manipulative. I'm starting to see that more clear now that he's actually really, and I'm not trying to be snarky here, he is actually dumb. Okay? He's easily manipulated. She runs the show now. I'm seeing it all together. I'm seeing it so clear right now. She runs the whole show.
When it's like, we don't know if that's the case, and I'm not going to say it is the case. I'm not going to say it isn't the case, because I don't know. But I mean, no matter what, I think things are a lot more nuanced than what Josh seems to want people to believe, because for whatever reason, he seems to have it out for women and think very negatively of women, and it's just exhausting. Another thing I wanted to talk about was Josh. I listened to his podcast with Cece Suarez, who I could do a whole video on too, and it's called Beauty and the Dad Bod, which I guess is supposed to be funny, which I don't really find that funny, but okay. But that's just me. But and in one of the podcast episodes, Josh was telling a story. I think he went to like Minneapolis or like Detroit, but it was a major city in the U.S. and he was talking about how he was scared for his life because he's white and so was his friend, and I don't know if people of color were talking to them or he didn't really make that clear, but he's like, don't be white people in this city going through this area because it's dangerous for white people. That is racist.
White buddy and I are driving through Detroit in his little Hyundai accent, listening to Christian hip hop. And these guys, it was stupid, it was dumb, because we got lost in downtown Detroit. Don't ever get lost as white people downtown Detroit, okay? White boys.
as anyone, really.
As anyone, don't. And these guys pull up in this giant Tahoe or this big, giant black, I don't know what it was, Escalade or something, roll down their window and look at us, and they say, "What are you listening to?" We roll up our window, and the highway was right at the next exit. We hopped on the highway and took off. We were like, I don't even know, and I don't even know. That was scary because we don't know anything because we're from Canada, man. We don't have that kind of stuff. And
having an area heavily populated by people of color, specifically Black people, does not make an area dangerous. It doesn't make an area dangerous. It doesn't mean you as a white person, if you go in that area, it's gonna be dangerous. Like, why are you, because he based, by him saying we were two white guys, he's saying, yes, I was scared because I was in an area heavily populated by people of color. And it's like, people of color are not inherently dangerous. And that is a racist trope to be perpetuating. And as a white person with a platform as big as his, Josh needs to do better. I cannot believe that, because I'm pretty sure whichever one edits the podcast, whether it's Josh or Chelsea, I really don't care. Because why the hell would you keep that in and be perpetuating this disgusting idea? It wasn't funny. It wasn't cute. I didn't learn anything. Why did they keep that in there? Because I know they edit that podcast. And I'll put in clips just in case you don't believe me or you think I'm taking things out of context. I'm not. I heard it from Josh himself. He said that. And I just want to say to Josh that people aren't fooled by you saying you're anti-family vlogger as an excuse to tear down women, because women getting Botox or plastic surgery has nothing to do with what kind of a mother they are or if they are exploiting their child on the internet. If you truly care about exploited children, as you keep claiming you do, you would focus more on that, because instead you're just changing the subject and going for the easiest low blows, because that's easier to argue and to make fun of and to actually argue real points. And I know he says, well, I'm the biggest anti-family vlogging channel on this platform, and other ones haven't grown because they're not as entertaining. But just because your channel has grown doesn't mean you are changing people's minds, doesn't mean you are teaching them something, educating them about the dangers of family vlogging, because I would argue that you aren't doing that at all. And Marissa from Not Another Housewife made a video about this recently, so I'm not going to go over it in a ton of detail, because if you want to know about it, she did an entire video on this, so you can go watch this. But, well, before the Dad Challenge podcast was a thing, Josh tried to be I just got startled by the heater turned on, but Josh tried to start a family vlogging channel, and it didn't take off. And Josh has claimed, no, it's not that. I just realized the bad things about family vlogging, and whatever I do on YouTube, I'm going to be successful no matter what, because I'm entertaining and I'm good at editing and production. And that I'm not going to deny that he's very good at production and editing, and I'm never going to be that good. But that's not what necessarily makes a YouTube channel a good YouTube channel. I think you need a good message. I think you need something that you care about. And it can be anything, really. Whatever, like, lights a fire in you. If you want to make a good YouTube channel, do that. And don't worry about what's going to get the most views, because I don't think that can sustain people, truly. But my point of saying this was Josh did exactly what he was against. And not even that, but even after Josh started the Dad Challenge podcast, he has featured his children in his videos, even in like diapers, and that's something he would drag a woman to hell and back for. But he does it, and that's fine, because he's Josh and he's a man and he's smarter than all of us dumb women, so he could do whatever the hell he wants. And that is the end of this video. If you enjoyed it, if you learned something, please give it a big thumbs up. And if you have not already and you would like to see more of my content, please consider hitting that subscribe button. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you again next time. Bye.